So I said I started in the Lima West mission, but then I actually ended in the Trujillo South mission. And so the Trujillo South mission is a pretty new one because they took part of Lima West and then part of the Trujillo mission, and then they made it into a new one. So those areas that were combined were the Trujillo South, and then what was left of Trujillo was made into the Trujillo North Mission. So I got to serve in basically 3 different cities. I started in Huaraz, and then I went to Chimbote, and then I went to Trujillo, and then I went back to another part of Chimbote. And the climate, as far as how it was in those areas, it was pretty different. Huaraz was normally pretty cold, and it rained a ton. And so I would definitely suggest bringing boots because you walk everywhere, and I remember, because I regretted not bringing boots, and so my feet were always soaked when we would come back. And so definitely I would suggest bringing rain boots to walk in for that area. And then as far as like for Trujillo and Chimbote, it didn't really rain that often. It was actually pretty exciting when it would rain, but then it would get really humid afterwards. So as far as the other areas I was in, Huaraz was probably the most, with the weather or anything, with the rain and being cold. So definitely bring at least a jacket or a coat because it does get really cold in Huaraz. And then rain boots because it's super wet all the time. And then with Trujillo and Chimbote, you could use a jacket. When I was there, I didn't really get cold, but some people might. So I would suggest having a light jacket for those areas because it was pretty mild most of the time, but sometimes it would get hot, especially in Trujillo because they were by the coast, so then it would get humid too. And so as far as how it was, like the landscape was different. Like Huaraz was gorgeous. It's like classic Peru, what you might think of, if you've seen Emperor's New Groove, there's just mountains everywhere. You're just in kind of in the valley, and then there's mountains all around you. It was so pretty there. I loved it. And then Trujillo and Chimbote, they were more in the city, and I mean, it definitely, the people were awesome there, but it definitely wasn't as exciting as Huaraz as far as the landscape. But I love serving in all the areas. It was very different, but it was a good experience to be in all those different places. The church is doing really well in Peru. I'm sure there were probably in other missions, there was probably missions that had branches, but I always served in a ward, and that had lots of wards in their stake. And we had really good help from the members. They would always go out with us and visit investigators or give us references. They were really helpful in the missionary work. And especially in my last area, the bishop was awesome. Working with that ward council was my favorite. So they're definitely really excited to help the missionaries with the work. They're very caring and always welcoming when you come in. Because it was kind of funny because when I came home, we had missionaries just randomly show up at our house, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I was like, well, that's what we would do. Back when I was on my mission, we could just go visit them, and they were welcome anytime, and they'd try to help us find new people to teach or maybe less active. So as far as the members helping out, they were really awesome. And in Peru, I think right now they have 3 temples. So the Lima temple, the Trujillo temple, and the Arequipa temple. And then there's they're working on one more in Lima, so there's going to be 2. So as far as I remember, right now there's 4. Well, 1 in progress, but there will be 4. And so that's really awesome, and the people love the gospel, and they love their Savior, and they just were so inspiring as the people, how they came to know the truth, because there were some people that had been born in the church, like their parents were married in the temple, but a lot of people that I was able to work with, members, they were converts, so it was awesome to see how they came to know the truth, and they just wanted to share that with everybody else. As far as how the culture is, especially the religion that's big down there, I'd definitely say Catholic Church is really big down there, especially in Huaraz. And I remember in Trujillo, you'd have like there would be little shrines everywhere of the Virgin Mary. So they're very big on Catholic, and a lot of people are very strong in that. So that was kind of a difficulty that we had, because they were very welcoming. Like they let us come in and teach them and share our message, but they were just like, oh no, we're good, we're Catholic. They were just very stuck on that tradition. So that was a little hard, but most of the people would let us in and let us share our message. Sometimes we'd get doors slammed in our face and things like that, but most people were at least welcoming enough to let us in and share a message and give us something to eat. And that too, that just they're so loving, and just even if they're not of a religion, they just want to give, and they're so loving and caring. And sometimes we had to say no to food that they would give us just because of some of the rules that we had in the mission. That was hard, because they just wanted to show their appreciation and love for us if we had helped them or something. But a thing with that is if they offer you food, like if there's rules in your mission that you're not supposed to take food from there, just a certain type of food, because sometimes it can be because just the families are so poor that they should be giving it to their families and not sacrifice it necessarily for the missionaries or just for sanitary reasons, anything like that. What my mission president said just blame it on me. And so definitely you don't want to hurt their feelings. So I would say, hey, sorry, our mission president said we can't, put the blame on them, because you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you want to be obedient too. So just be careful with that and just explain. And they're usually pretty understanding of that.